Hey friends, just wanting to jump on and talk a little bit more about some of the strategies that I use for knowing when enough is enough, when to stop eating. So it's interesting when so there are several tools that I use and I explained them on some of my Facebook Lives. We talked about water, we talked about knowing what to eat when you're physically hungry and not for emotional reasons. And last week's live was about stopping at enough, stopping to knowing when you're stopping at enough. And one of the things that I wanted to make sure that was communicated, and that is, how do you know when you've had enough? Like, how do we know when we're done eating? And for many years, I was a Weight Watcher. So for many years, I thought someone had to tell me when I was enough because I would know. They gave me a point rate, a point range or calorie range, or I could eat anything I wanted. I could eat as many vegetables as I wanted, even if I was like overly full, which is interesting because what that taught me was that I was not to be trusted, that I could not trust myself to know when to stop eating. And so it took me quite a while to develop this skill, and I'm still working on it daily. It's not one of those things that you just check that off the checkbox and move on. It's something that I continually work on. And that is knowing when I've had enough. And so some of the ways that I know that I've had enough, there's a post a few days back, if you want to take a look at that. It's like, how do I know when I'm done? And that is, I feel a sigh. I will actually go, okay, take a big breath, because I wait to eat until I'm actually physically hungry. So then I can be in tune. Once I know what physical hunger feels like, I know, okay, one of the signals for me is have like a big sigh. There's like not as much room in my stomach now that there was before I started eating. So that's one of the signals that I look for. Another one is I'm always looking for those bites, those like extra crunchy, yummy, crusty. I love, like the browned edges of a toast or something like that, or cheese, something kind of crunchy and kind of caramelized. My favorite word. Anyway, caramelized, just extra flavorful bites. If I'm looking for those best bites, chances are that I don't want to waste my calories on some like the mushy middle part of whatever the thing. I like to think of pancakes for some reason that comes to my mind. I like the edges and not so much in the middle. So anyway, whatever that is for you, once you start noticing like, oh yeah, you start, looking for, I want to make sure I get the good bites in. Another one is when you get distracted, when you start thinking about things other than food. So if you're eating when you're physically hungry, chances are you're going to be wanting to eat. When you stop, when that changes, and you learn to eat only when you're physically hungry, you're starting to check into your body a little bit more. Then you will notice, oh, wait a minute, I was hungry because I was having like headaches, or my stomach was grumbling, or I had that empty feeling. And now and you start to eat, and then you realize all I want is food. At that one point in the beginning of the eating process, then towards the end, you might start thinking about, oh, what do you have going on for the day? Or you kind of get distracted in your brain. And that's a signal that, okay, we might be getting close to being done. So one of the things, and I'm going to be posting about it today, is when I get to that sigh, I will set a timer, because very often what comes up for me is I get to the end of I get the sigh, and then I'm like, man, but there's so much really good food here. And again, it is not, our brains do not want to stop. Like they're like, no, this is not what we do. We don't want to we want to seek comfort, not, embrace discomfort, right? So you're going to fight your brain a little bit on this when you realize in my stomach, physically, I've actually had enough. Well, that's when I will set a timer for a few minutes and I'll just tell myself, Amy, you can have it if you are physically hungry in 5 minutes. So I set the timer, put the food aside, go do something else. I would say 99% of the time, I do not go back for that other bite, which just tells you how often we are eating more than we need and not even realizing it. So that's a little helpful tip. Hopefully that will be something that you can use today as you are enjoying some food. And if you're interested, by the way, this is one of the things that we talk about in my coaching practice. You can schedule an appointment on my Calendly. I have a Calendly link that you can help yourself to. There's lots of appointments available to schedule a one-on-one consultation, no obligation, just to learn a little bit more about what coaching can do for you. And check out my Facebook posts and website and all that kind of stuff. They have some blogs over on the website as well. All right. Have a great day.